Hello, this is David Benign from Excel Consulting. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Power BI's Publish to Web feature, where you can publish a report to a web page for free that can be accessed by anyone. But because it's accessible by anyone, there are also associated dangers. So the Power BI Publish to Web feature is the only way to publish reports for free. It's fairly simple. I'll show you how to do it, but anyone can access it. And for the most part, export is disabled. So there's a few things that are different, such as export. Anyone can access it, and that is a key point because it means that they can access any page in a report with a complicated URL, but it is actually being indexed by search engines. And if they access it, even if it is from a complex URL, they can still share it. They can send a link, they can share it on social media, and then more and more people can access it. So don't do it unless you're sure that the data can be public. And although technically you aren't able to get data, underlying data from it, there is one thing that is preventing that, which is if people use implicit measures. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So let's go into Power BI Online here. So if I want to publish this online for free, I can go to File, and then I can go to Publish to Web. It says you'll get a link or embed code that you can include in the public website, and you can create embed code. Then it gives you this other warning. You are about to create an embed code for this report. Once published, anyone on the internet will be able to access the report and the data it contains. And Microsoft may display the report on a public website or a public gallery. So you don't have anything to prevent that. So if you click on Publish, then it gives you this box. The top box, you can send this in an email. And this is an iframe if you want to embed it onto a website. You can change the size, and that will impact the iframe. You can see these dimensions change. So you can copy this and you can paste it. This can be accessible either through mobile or through other reports, and then you can see everything on it here. Now, one thing that is quite nice, which is different to the normal UI, is you can click on 4 out of 5 and actually get a list with a nice animation of all your pages. So this is my front page as we started out, and it will show you those pages there. In the normal Power BI unpublished, you can show the data and you can export the data in certain cases if it's not disabled. In Power BI here, that is not available. So you can't do that. You don't get the 3 dots afterwards there. Some of the things are disabled. So if I go to this tab, it says this visual is not supported. So many custom visuals are not supported on this, as are some of Power BI's newer visuals, which at the time of writing include the key influencers visual here. So this one did not render. This is the same page that I showed you elsewhere. It didn't render. Also this Q&A, this doesn't render either. So this tells me it doesn't work there. All right, here's a pretty important point. If I go here, see records. So here I have 2 different visuals, and they look the same. They're both looking at sales at event by city and by gender, but one of them is using an implicit measure and one's using an explicit measure. And that is a key difference, because if here I am on the embed one, if I right click on this, the one with the implicit measure has the word see records. The one with the explicit measure does not. Watch what see records does. This is scary. It actually brings you that whole list of all of those data points broken down. So if that's not what you want someone to be able to do, avoid using implicit measures. So let me go back here and show you what's being asked for implicit measures. So with this one, the one that I've ticked says spectators at event, and it's using this one with a summation sign, and that means it's an implicit measure. Whereas this one is using the calculator symbol. That is a explicit measure that has been written for this visual. So that is something to be aware of. If you are going to use this, avoid using the implicit measures. I also said you can see this on a website. So if I go to my own Excel Consulting Asia website, here's an example where I've used the embed code to see the Power BI report. This is a very nice visual of a chart that is showing you the share price of Microsoft, Google, and Apple over time. This is actually real data. It can be interacted with like any usual Power BI report in any way that we might expect. But as I was saying earlier, you only get a couple of options here. You don't get the option to export data, which is good. But do be aware of the C records point that I said. Okay, last point, what if you want to get rid of it? Or see what's going on there. If you go to Power BI Online, the Settings tab, and then you get Manage Embed Codes. So this has a list of all of the embed codes that you have. If you don't want it there, you can click Delete. Are you sure you want to delete it? Press Delete there. And what that means is that if this is refreshed, it doesn't work anymore. It's not available because it is now being hidden. Well, the embed code doesn't exist anymore. So another thing to note is that embed codes are on a workspace level. So if I go to a different workspace, like my workspace, then if I go here and manage embed codes, it's just showing me completely different things. So yeah, that is what I wanted to show you about embed codes and how you can actually publish to web and share for free. Anyone can see the report. And if you like that video, then you can subscribe to my channel for more great content. I have tons of videos on Excel, Power BI, PowerPoint, and various other things. So like and subscribe, and see you later.